Hey everybody, Matt here. This is going to be the review of the Taurus PT709 Slim. A lot of you guys know I picked this up back in June. I've been running it for about 3.5 months as my main concealed carry weapon. And so now we're going to do a nice full review on it. I'm going to give you my thoughts. What are you going to use this pistol for? It's for concealed carry, okay, point blank. Possibly a vehicle gun, you know, to throw between the seats or the glove box or center console, something like that. That's fine. But this is not a range gun. This is not a nightstand home defense gun, okay? This is for concealed carry. This is for, you know, close range, outside of your home, self-defense, okay? That's what this gun is intended for, and I would not recommend it for anything else, okay? Let's get the specs out of the way here real quick. You're looking at 6 inches long, 4.5 inches tall, okay? Comes in at 7/8 of an inch wide, very slim, hence the name, and 3-inch barrel. Weighs in at 19 ounces. This, obviously, the PT709, this is 9mm. Now, they do make a PT740, that's in a 40 count. Capacity on this is 7 plus 1 in the chamber. Let's talk accuracy real quick. Anybody who has any experience with pistols and is even a half decent shot should have no issues hitting center mass every time inside 10 yards, okay? No problems whatsoever. Outside 10 yards, if you aren't an experienced shooter, or if you're not at least experienced with this particular gun, you haven't got a lot of time behind it, you're gonna start having, you know, flyers, okay? Inside 10 yards, anybody should be able to hit center mass at target. Now, obviously, you're talking in a self-defense situation, you got stress factors and all this other stuff. We're just cutting that shit out, okay? We're not talking about that, but just, you know, picking up the gun and shooting at a target from 10 yards, you should be able to hit center mass with this. No problems at all within that range. Let's talk about all the features in this thing. Obviously, it's a polymer frame pistol. You got a stainless steel slide. They do make this in a blue finish as well. The stainless steel runs about 20 bucks more. I don't know why. I guess it's just considered a little better. I like the all black on black look, but that's just me. Let's talk about the grip. The grip is a small grip, okay? This is a small grip for this pistol. Most other 9mm on the market in this kind of what I would consider pocket carry 9, which is going to be your Ruger LC9, your Kel-Tec P11, and your cars, all have larger grips in this. Now, there's good and bad to that. The bad, obviously, is that it's a lot harder to get a hold of. If you have long fingers like I do, your finger tends to wrap way around the trigger, and this is a snappy little gun, okay? It's 9mm and it's a very small, lightweight gun, so that can be an issue. The good thing about it is, when you conceal carry this is all that sticks up out of your pocket, okay? It's a very, very small grip. Even if you get something like an extension on here, still a very small grip, so it is good for concealed carry. It's very, very easy to conceal for just about anybody. Another thing I like about it is the large trigger well. In a self-defense situation, you need to get your finger on the trigger hopefully as quickly but safely as possible so as not to shoot yourself. But I like the fact that it has a large trigger well. I think it works well for what the pistol's designed for. Let's talk about the trigger itself. This is a sort of a Glock style single action trigger, okay? And you can see here it is very much inspired by Glock. You have your trigger safety on there. So this is a striker fired pistol. You're going to rack one in and you're going to have a very light, crisp, I believe it's a 5 to 5.5 pound trigger pull, okay? Very crisp, clean breaking trigger. And let's listen to the reset here. That's the reset. Very, very, very short reset. Okay, boom. I mean, it's a very crisp, clear, clean trigger with a very short reset. I love the trigger on this thing. By far, it is probably my favorite trigger out of the other small 9s I've tried, which would pretty much only be the P11, the PF9, and the LC9. Okay. This is by far a better trigger than any of those. Now, I haven't tried the cars. I understand they've got really nice, smooth double action triggers. Double action obviously is, for many people, preferred for self-defense. This obviously is a single action trigger. Some people may have issues with that. I personally don't. It doesn't bother me. It is a very nice, very, very nice trigger. One nice little feature about this trigger is it does have a second strike capability. So, you know, you've racked one in, you pull the trigger, and nothing happens. Well, you also have the ability to, again, pull the trigger, and again, and again if you need to, see if maybe you can hit that primer again and get yourself back in the fight. Now, the one thing to take in mind, this is not a true double action, single action gun. That double action trigger pull only works after you've gone into single action first. So there's no decocker on this, so you can't, you know, load one in and then decock it and get your first shot double action. Your first shot is always going to be a single action. Now, to kind of counterbalance that, even though it does have the trigger safety on it, you also have a manual thumb safety. Okay, I've never used the manual thumb safety. It is there if you want to use it. You know, I don't. You know, that's up to you. That's your call. It does have a nice little adjustable rear sight, which I think is a nice feature for a gun this small. Okay, obviously the front sight is fixed, but a nice rear adjustable sight on a gun this small is I think a nice feature. One thing I want to point out, something I did, this is just me personally, the finish on the gun is a stainless steel finish. Now, if you're familiar with these at all, you know that this is actually supposed to be a matte finish. I went and did a light polishing on the finish on mine, and came out with close to a mirror finish. It is not a complete mirror finish, but it looks, to me, it looks a lot better than it did when it was a matte finish gun. Just didn't look as good. That's just me, just personal. I figured if it was going to be stainless, even though I don't like stainless, might as well bling it up a little bit. Okay, let's go into takedown. Talk about durability and reliability. Right now I'm sitting on probably a little over 400 rounds for this thing over the course of the last 3 months. Within the first 100 rounds I had, I believe, 8 failure to extracts. Okay, now that worried me at first, I'll be honest with you, because failure to extract usually indicates a problem with an extractor. Doesn't usually indicate a break-in problem. But after about 100 rounds, it went away completely. So I'm assuming, you know, it was a break-in issue. It has gone away. It has completely worked itself out. Never had any failure to feeds or anything like that. It was just the failure to extracts, and that went away. So the last little over 300 rounds has been flawless through the gun, and no issues whatsoever. Let's talk value. You know, MSRP on these things, if you go to Taurus, is $498. There is no way in hell this gun is worth $500, period. It's just not. Nobody you know at a gun show, at a store, or online is going to be charging that much for the gun, so don't even worry about that. Put MSRP out of your mind. Retail on these things is going to go, brand new guns, for about $320 to $380, okay? Now, online, obviously, you'll be able to find them cheaper, but once you factor in shipping and FFL costs, it's going to go back up to, you know, in that same $320 to $380 range for a new pistol. I have seen new pistols for as little as $299, but that was once. They were having a sale and they were gone within a few days. So, and I never saw that sale come back again. Used, I have seen them as low as $225 on up to $300 for used pistols. It depends, you know, it's a shot in the dark. Somebody may be wanting to get rid of one and be willing to get rid of it cheap, but you know, used is a completely different market. My idea is if you're going for a new one, if you can get it between $300 and $350, you're doing good. If you can get it for less than that, hell yes, go for it. Used, I would not even think about going over $300 for a used one. I would try to stick closer to $250 for a used one if it was up to me. They are great guns, they're just not, you know, their value is not there money-wise. You know, they're just not a $400 or $500 gun like say a used Glock would be. I'm very happy with the pistol, so I'm giving a thumbs up. It's good, getting a good review. So anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys watching. Any questions, comments, or video responses, please let me know, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.